Class of 2021, many congratulations on your graduation, and thank you so much for the honour of choosing me to speak to you this evening. It has been a privilege to get to know you over the past few years. During that time, I've thoroughly enjoyed teaching and mentoring you, coaching you, going on trip week with you, listening to you sing and to play your instruments, and seeing you express yourself on the stage, the sports field, and through your visual art. It's amazing when I think about everything that you've achieved and how much you've grown as people and as learners. I'm very happy to be here to share in your excitement today, and I'm extremely proud of the young people that you've become. When I sat down to write this speech, I think I must have felt a bit like you guys did when you started working on your EE. What the hell am I going to say? How am I going to write so many words? Perhaps I thought I should begin by wishing you success. The problem with that, though, is that success is different for everybody, and it keeps changing. For many of you right now, for example, success may be determined by the number of IB points you receive in July. But in a few years' time, it might be, do you have a partner? Or maybe, can you keep down those shots on your 21st birthday? So let's not talk about success. What to say then? It was at this point that I started to become quite anxious. What if I choke? What if I humiliate myself? Thankfully, though, I soon realised that I was falling into the trap of thinking that it's all about me. Astrophysicists tell us that the universe has no centre, so sadly, it can't be me. But neither can it be you. As the Rolling Stones said in the first of 5 songs that I've taken as my inspiration for this address, you can't always get what you want. No, you can't always get what you want. The problem is, we're all hardwired to think that we can. As I'm sure your parents will attest, when you were first born, you knew how to get exactly what you wanted whenever you wanted it. Cry very loudly. While this behaviour is completely acceptable when we're babies, it gradually becomes less so. I feel it's probably still kind of okay when we're toddlers. But by the time we get to high school, people don't expect it. And there's definitely a bit of social awkwardness. Fortunately, I can assure everyone that it's now comparatively rare in the class of 2021. Although not unknown. In 2012, David McCullough Jr. was an English teacher at Wellesley High School in Massachusetts, and he was chosen to give a speech similar to the one you're enduring right now. In it, he caused a stir and inadvertently created a viral YouTube happening when he told that year's graduates that they were not special. Despite the impression you may have gained from your Marissa basketball medal or your PP certificate, I have to tell you that he was right. You're not special either. None of us are special, because we all are. So, what's the message from my first song? Well, it's this. I want you to realise that you can't always get what you want, and that you have to compromise, collaborate, communicate with and listen to other people in all aspects of your life. I hope you've figured out by now that in each of these 5 songs I'm attempting to convey something meaningful, a little pearl of wisdom I've acquired on my 60 trips around the sun, something that I hope may be beneficial for your own journey. The second song is by Gloria Gaynor. I've got all my life to live, and I've got all my love to give, and I'll survive. I will survive. Hey, hey. The message in this one is, I feel about growing your resilience. Usually, I avoid cliches like the plague, but there really is no point crying over spilt milk. At some point in your life, you will experience sadness. Maybe you won't get that job you really wanted. Maybe you'll be bullied at the one you do get. Maybe you'll break up with your partner or get caught up in a natural disaster. Adversity does not discriminate. At these moments, it's important to remember that resilience is a fixed or an elusive trait that some people have and some people don't. It's something that, just like learning mathematics, you can improve with practice. Lucy Hohn is a New Zealander who studied and worked in the US as a psychologist. One of the jobs she had was counselling Marines when they returned home from war zones. As you can imagine, they had some pretty traumatic experiences to share. Nothing prepared her, though, for the day that her 12-year-old daughter Abby died in a car crash. In her TED Talk, Lucy describes the 3 techniques that she used to grow her resilience, to subdue her own grief sufficiently to be able to move on with her life. Firstly, she said, accept that shit happens. Not enough of us seem to know this any longer, but life's not fair. Recognizing this fact is a necessary step in the process. Secondly, consciously choose to think about things that you're grateful for. Resilient people have worked out a way of tuning into the good things around them. Psychologists like Lucy call this benefit finding. For example, one of the things that she describes being grateful for, even at some of the worst moments, was that her daughter had not experienced a long, agonizing death. Finally, when analysing the thoughts that you're having or the behaviours that you're exhibiting as a result of your grief, ask yourself this simple question. Is this helping me or harming me? Then choose to consciously focus on those things that are helping you. Lucy doesn't pretend that thinking and acting in this way is always easy, and it certainly doesn't remove all the pain. But she assures us practicing these 3 things really does make a difference. As the Danish philosopher Kierkegaard observed back in the 19th century, sadness and despair are inevitable. I hope that you never have to experience anything like the trauma that Lucy had to endure. But accepting sadness as a key part of your human experience is necessary, and it will make you more compassionate towards yourself and towards others. So, when times are tough, remember Gloria's words, I will survive. For the 3rd song, I've chosen something by Lady Gaga. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. To me, this says be authentic. Stand up for what you believe in and be proud of who you are. Do what is right, not what is easy. Take the path that feels right for you. I once heard this described as behaving a bit like a tortoise. In order to move forward, you've got to stick your neck out a bit. It was Desmond Tutu who said, if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. When he said that, it was in reference to the oppression suffered under the South African government in their system of apartheid. But sadly, as Me Too has highlighted, this concept could just as easily apply to your boss. I won't deny that standing up for yourself, for your friends and colleagues, or for something that you believe in will not be hard sometimes. It may even upset some people. Learn to trust yourself though. Deep down, you'll know in your heart what's the right thing to do. So try not to worry about what other people think. Be confident and be unique. One of the keys to a happy, fulfilled life is, I feel, to be true to yourself. We live in an age where many people feel entitled to perfect lives, or want you to think that theirs are perfect. You know them. They post swathes of smiley photos on TikTok and Instagram. We all know how fake this is, but sometimes it's difficult not to buy into it, to resist becoming more like them than yourself. Remember, though, that the people we see there are just like you. They don't lead perfect lives any more than you do. They feel the same things as you do. The only reason you can't hear their inner monologue of self-doubt isn't because they don't have them. It's that you can only hear your own. I'm going to leave the last word in this section to Brené Brown. She defines authenticity as the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we really are. The fourth song is a classic by Bill Withers. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I've chosen this one because it's all about being there for each other, about being compassionate, thoughtful, and at times being selfless, doing things for other people. I remember seeing an interview with Barack Obama in which the former US president shared something he always impressed on his daughters when they were growing up. He told them to be useful and be kind. And that's precisely what I think this song is saying. How can you be useful? Well, it's actually quite straightforward. You just have to do your bit to ensure that you make a contribution somehow. Robert F. Kennedy, the brother of another American president, John F. Kennedy, said it like this: each of us can work to change a small portion of events, and in the total of all those acts will be written the history of this generation. Many years ago, in fact, it was last century, I worked in a school in Colombia, and the head of mathematics there, Frank, had a mantra that I'll always remember. He said to me, "Leave the place in a better state than you found it." He was referring to the department and the school where we were both working at the time, but I feel that his mantra can be applied to any career, and not only to the world of work, to your friendships, your community, your relationships, even to our planet. Whether you realize it or not, you are all very privileged. You may be surprised to hear that of the 7.9 billion people that share the earth with us, less than 7% have a bachelor's degree. So when many of you receive yours in a few years' time, it will put you amongst the best educated people in the world. But I believe that with this privilege comes a degree of responsibility. I charge you today, as you leave us and head out into the world, to take on that responsibility to be useful. Useful and kind, Barack Obama said. So what about kindness? I remember when I was growing up, my parents always told me to treat other people as you expect them to treat you. So definitely don't be dumping someone on social media. That's stinky. Science has actually shown that we're biologically wired to be kind, and that we can further develop this trait with practice. It's good for you too. Researchers at the University of British Columbia in Canada have found that the hormones released by performing kind acts reduce inflammation and blood pressure, significantly increase positive moods, reduce stress, and ease anxiety. So as well as being the right thing to do, being kind is also good for your health. So why would you not be kind to people? The final song I've chosen is an iconic Motown track, originally recorded by Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell. Ain't no mountain high enough, there ain't no valley deep enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you. I selected this one because it's a reminder to make what is valuable important, to focus on prioritizing the people and the experiences in your life. When I was at university, I shared a flat with a group of friends, and I'd like to tell you about one of them. Let's call him Martin. He studied accountancy, and after graduation went on to sit his professional exams at one of the big London firms of the day. After that, he took a job as the sole accountant at a small t-shirt manufacturing company who made merchandise to sell at music concerts. Over the years, we gradually lost touch, so I was quite surprised when he messaged a couple of months ago and we arranged to have a catch-up. It turns out that this small t-shirt company had managed to sign contracts with some of the biggest acts in the world and had opened up a second office in the US. Martin had spent the last 20 years supervising teams of accountants in both the London and the Los Angeles offices, flying regularly between the two cities and earning a ridiculous amount of money. When I spoke to him, though, COVID had spread everywhere. Concerts had been cancelled and he'd been sacked from his job. He didn't seem to mind not working anymore. He certainly doesn't need to. He's got a big house, a flash new car, plenty of cash in the bank. He sounded melancholy, though, and expressed regret at some of the choices that he'd made in his life. He now realises that he missed much of his son's childhood, missed seeing him in the school musical, missed watching him playing football. According to David Foster Wallace, my friend Martin had been worshipping the wrong things. In his speech, This Is Water, Wallace expresses the belief that everyone worships something, but advises us to be mindful about what we allow this to be. My friend Martin, to his regret, spent too much time worshipping money and possessions. So, please be careful about what you worship and ensure that you make what is most valuable in your life important. Don't forget to enjoy your journey. In conclusion, I'd like to wish you, the class of 2021, way more than luck. Whatever you do, please never stop learning, exploring, growing, and challenging yourself to do and to be your very best. My hopes for you are these: that you'll remember you can't always get what you want, that you'll lead happy, resilient, fulfilled, selfless and authentic lives, that you'll leave everywhere you go in a better state than you found it, that you'll make what is valuable important, and that you are at all times both useful and kind. Thank you.